Now, let's quickly proceed, and we're going to talk about, will AI disrupt your business model? In order to moderate this session, we have Mr. Dev Mehta, Vice President, Marketing, NewVision Software. Please help me to join him on stage. Mr. Dev Mehta. Now, please join me to welcome our esteemed panelists, Neeraj, Gargi. Put your hands together, Mr. Neeraj Gargi, co-founder and CTO of Intelegain Technology, everybody. Please join me to welcome Mr. Ajay Shirke, Senior Manager Channels, India and SAARC Emerging. Everybody, join me to welcome Mr. Jitesh T. Dave, Founder and CEO, SYSTECH Technocraft Services Private Limited, and Mr. Vikas Garg, Co-founder and CTO of BaffleSol Technologies Private Limited. So we are really excited for this session, and with our team moderator. If you're really excited, I think we should give them the warmest and the loudest welcome, everybody. Thank you, and all over to you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. All right, AI. We've been hearing about this for a long time now, and this entire session, we've heard a lot of buzz around AI. Some really amazing presentations that took place around AI. My take is that AI will disrupt businesses. And disruption is not always negative. Disruption is always positive as well as negative. It takes a lot of effort to understand as to how your business can transform in a positive manner and can bring about the positive disruption based on how do you take AI into action in your business operations, right? And this esteemed panel is really going to help us to kind of, delve into how AI actually disrupts businesses positively as well as negatively, and what are the points of caution that they see based on their experience that they've had while implementing AI for customers or within their businesses as well. AI has been a buzzword, but now it's not a buzzword, it's a transformative force that is taking place. It's redefining industries, it's reshaping organizations, and it's reimagining CX, right? That's your customer experience. And with that, there is a lot of effort that needs to go in, from automating operations to upskilling your workforce and upskilling your own talent, the pool that you have, in order to get them enabled with AI, right? So with this panel, I would really like to understand how AI is reshaping all of this, and how organizations need to be cautious of what they need to tread with and deal with in terms of AI. With that, I would like to open the floor. Thank you so much, the esteemed panel, for joining in. And my first question to all of you would be, how do you see the big picture of how AI is reshaping the competitive landscape in your industry? So maybe we can start with Neeraj first.
Thank you, Dev, for inviting for this panel discussion. And AI is the buzzword. Everybody's talking about it, and I think this is the right time when we get into more deeper, understand it, that what exactly and what does this mean really. So in my perspective, I feel that if we are not adopting the AI, then we are going to stay behind. So this is the right time when we should explore it, that what exactly it can do to our business, and we should adopt it. Doesn't matter, your business might be slightly different than mine. My adoption may be higher and it may be more deeper, but at least explore AI, and that is important. Otherwise, it is very difficult to survive in this competitive world. That is my perspective.
That's a great point, and with that perspective, it's also very important to understand that how do we bring responsible AI, right? Everyone talks about AI, but no one talks about bringing responsible AI into the picture. So maybe, Ajay, if you could delve into a little bit of responsible AI.
Yeah, thank you, Dev. I think it's very important for us to be responsible in terms of whatever technology we get, right? We have seen cybersecurity, there are plus and minuses both. How we as an organization help our customers, where on the opposite side, how the hackers misuse whatever information they have. The same is with AI. I think AI, if I say currently it is a double-edged sword. On one side, we are using AI to automate the attacks or maybe early identification of whatever incident happens, right? And on the second side, on the other side, the hackers use it for pushing in more attacks through AI. I think recently there was an incident where one of the developer had some query and he put it in the chat GPT. He received a query where there was a link which he had clicked, and I think he lost somewhere around $40,000. So I think that is also one thing where we have to be very responsible in terms of the technology which we are adapting. And as you rightly mentioned, right, AI has to be a responsible AI. So I think that is my view.
Thank you so much. And we would just like to welcome Vikas. Hi, Vikas. Thanks for joining in.
Apologies, I'm late.
Yeah, that's completely fine. So we were talking about how AI is reshaping businesses, and what is your take on it? So, Jitesh, if you could also delve around, how AI is reshaping the competitive landscape, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thanks, Dave, for that question. Now, I see that since today morning, I think the day started with a presentation, and I think all of us experienced that AI was part of that presentation. And then after subsequently all the three presentations that we saw in the first half, I think everybody had adopted AI. Now, AI is no longer an experimental stage. It has already started being adopted in an active manner in a lot of organizations. Now, the organizations can be categorized as large, mid, and retail, but then everybody is looking at it as an adaptation, not an experimental. There are companies who are not even putting it out in open, but then they are experimenting and adopting it. So as I see that a lot of companies are still in that experimental stage, but then a lot of companies have actually adopted and are in the stage of enhancement. So I see the first speakers in the morning, I could see that they have already adopted and are enhancing their experience. So it is not disruptive. It's all up to the individual and the organization. How do they take this? Do they want to be a dodo? I mean, all of us know what dodos were. Nobody wanted to be dodo anymore. So it's up to us how we take it. Earlier, the better. So the early you adopt, no matter to what size of project do you take internally, but you have to start. So it cannot be an experimental stage. You have to start adopting now. If you have not adopted, at least start with the experimental stage.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that.
Sorry, I just want to add one more thing. I think what we are missing is, now we are adapting what he mentioned. Currently what we are missing is the governance and monitoring. I think that is what is missing. I think we are not looking at the other side where we have to have regular audits of what we are doing. I think that would definitely help in responsible AI, what you asked about. I think that is what is important.
That's very important.
The compliance is important.
Because as you get started in implementing AI, the moment you start governance from that very step, and auditing from that very step, you will be maintaining a responsible AI implementation within the organization. So that is a great point. Thank you so much. So Vikas, over to you. What are your thoughts on the same?
Thank you. Apologies again, but it's a talk of a town nowadays. Like whenever we talk about AI, everyone want to know, good and bad things about it. I see AI is not a new thing as a new thing that we should be talking that much about. It has been there, like face recognition is something we all have been using, not maybe at our personal level, but organizations have been asking you to use it. That was the earlier form of AI. Now it has come to a stage when at individual level, we are able to use some of it and enhance our capabilities. I see AI is nothing but enhanced computing power, which was not possible earlier. Now it is possible through your handheld device itself. And it's a technology which basically making you do much more than you could do before. Ultimately, whatever technology enhancement has happened, it has done one thing to reduce the time that you used to do before. And after that, like even having computers ultimately reduce the time, right? Now with this AI, as an advanced computing, it has further reduced the time. So that's how I see AI. I mean, it definitely is going to disrupt, add muscles to us, to the organization, to an individual level. Obviously, there are challenges which we all have to figure out and work towards to make sure that we make it more responsible.
Absolutely, and that's really great. So I would just like to ask the audience over here that what are your thoughts? You all are SIs. You have been helping your customers to integrate AI, or you've been seeing AI being integrated within your own organizations and so on. How many of you? We all talk about its successes. How many of you have seen it fail, or how many of you have seen it kind of as a challenge within your organizations, or while you're implementing it for your customers? So people who have implemented it for their customers, have you seen it as a challenge while implementation due to lack of understanding of AI? I mean, if you could raise your hands, that would be really helpful. We just want to make it a little interactive so that we can see, how people are actually getting affected, due to lack of understanding of AI. Any takers from here? Or within your own organizations, have you seen challenges in AI? If you could raise your hands, that'll be really helpful. Yeah, that's great. So, what?
Can I add something on it?
Yes, sure.
So maybe the right question, not right question, but another question could be, many of the cases are there where people don't know why they need AI.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because we don't know the capability. That's the reason we are not even experimenting with it.
Mm-hmm.
If we know that what is possible, then we can definitely try to look for it. So the question is why I need AI is still a bigger question than how to use AI.
Yeah, that's true, and that's a great point, because that's where I wanted to understand from all of you, what are the biggest challenges that businesses face while implementing AI?
Sure. Thank you. So just in continuation to the last question where we are talking about what is AI and why do we need AI? In my perspective, I look at AI into, primarily I can split it into two parts. One is improving the productivity, my personal productivity, what Anurup has shown us today, where he said, okay, I attended a meeting and automatically system is telling me that, okay, this is the summary of the meeting, these are my action items. So it is improving my productivity. I can create my PPTs or DAC in maybe 5 minutes, which I used to take 3 hours, 4 hours earlier. So that is a one aspect of the AI, which is definitely, there's no challenge, nothing major is going to impact. It is just another tool what we are going to use. If you remember that there was a time when we used to use Notepad to write some documents and at all. Slowly we got more sophisticated documents like Word and word processors and at all. So that way, same way, AI is another tool for improving the productivity. But the second part, where Dr. Mohanty has given a very good use cases that how business can get the value out of AI. The way he has shown that, okay, you are having some ratings, Amazon, 10,000 reviews, very tricky feedbacks and at all, but it's very difficult to analyze it. So, but where the AI is going to play a major role, that is how it can quickly summarize it, which is not possible if we try to do it manually. So that way I look at it into two segments. So first segment is perfectly all right, but the second segment is sometimes tricky because if it gives you something biased information because of the algorithm issues, so then it is maybe a problem. So that is a one perspective what I want to share. Now coming to this current question, what we are talking about, what are the challenges? So first of all, the first challenge when we talk to any of the customer, so when we talk to them, so first question they are asking that, what is AI? Is it a magic? Is it going to solve all my problems? Of course not. We have to train the AI. We need to train the models, AI models, that what exactly and what operations, business operations it need to do. So first of all, we need to understand that what exactly AI is going to do. So that is the first stage. The second stage of challenge what we are going to have, AI is not something which is going to run automatically and its own. It runs on our data. My data need to be there. My data need to be structured. And if I don't have the proper data, AI is not going to work for sure. So that is another hurdle where we have to synchronize, we have to streamline our data. So once data is also in place, now the problem is skilling. We don't have the skilled manpower who can build my this AI models and who can work on this data. So that is another challenge. So, but yeah, I mean, for that we are doing a lot of, various OEMs are doing a lot of courses and that all. So that is another challenge which I feel that is going to be there for next few years. Then next is going to be the investment. AI is, as Vikas also mentioned, so it is not something like where you can just run deploy a server and start running your AI models. You need a lot of capacity. That is the cost. So you need to manage the cost, that how it is going to be handled. So if we see the product which are available in the market, I mean, the one product which I am using very extensively is the Microsoft 365 Copilot, which was launched almost 8-9 months back. So the cost of the product is 30,000 rupees per person. So it is a big question. Should I take it? If I take it for me, so am I going to buy this license for all my people in my company? That is 100 people, 100 means 100 into 300, which is a big investment from my side, year-on-year basis. So that is the investment is another hurdle which we need to figure out, that if it is worth to do that. So once that is also done, then what is the next challenge? Challenge is going to be the adoption. I have seen a lot of people who got the AI models, who is having this AI build applications, but they are not using it. They feel that नहीं यार वो जैसे पहले चल रहा था चलने दो, क्या फालतू में ये चक्रों में पड़ना है. So that is the attitude. So that change management is important. We need to get into that, and we need to see that how to get our users to adopt it. And then finally, what we are talking about the security, ethical AI and that all. So that is another thing which finally we need to see that everything is in place. Now, are we doing it ethically? Are we doing it right? Is it compliant? So this is my perspective. Thank you.
So I think rightly mentioned by Neeraj, I think the adaptability is very important because the phase which is going on for AI is adaptability. And definitely there is an increase in the productivity that everybody has seen it, right? But the only thing, as Neeraj rightly mentioned, the right level of skill sets are not available currently. The courses are not available. But yes, we as a company are taking steps to train our partners, our customers around AI, around security for AI. So everything possible way we are trying to reach out to the customers in terms of taking the language of AI to the next level. From the challenging perspective, I think, as I mentioned earlier also, I think if it is not rightly used, then it would be a major disaster for any company. But yes, I think everybody has to keep a watch on what has been used and what has been misused within their organization. I think if that compliance is done, I don't see a challenge. It can be a boon for all of us.
Fantastic. Jitesh, your thoughts on that?
So I'd just like to elaborate more on the data challenges that we have. Like most of the organizations, mid and the retail segment, they do not have a structured data. Now, data are lying in silos, and AI does not work in such kind of environment. It needs a very structured and labeled data. So unless you do not have that kind of a structured and labeled data, the output will not be as you desire. So one has to really invest on the data synchronization. Second is, now that we are in the era where we have this DPDP Act, the DPDP law is already there and the central government has already made that public. Now it is very important on what we are capturing, what data we are analyzing. Are we really doing a right analysis? Because none of us, or no organization, be it as large or a small or a mid, wants to fall into any legal tangle. Yes. Nobody wants to fall into any regulatory issues. Mm-hmm. So we need to be very cognizant of what data are we really analyzing. And then are we really putting a KPIs on each of these, and are we setting goals, right goals and right KPIs have been addressed. Like say for example, if you want to just do a cost saving and no customer satisfaction, then that cannot be a right KPI. You need to bundle both. The second challenge is on the talent pool, and I was very impressed with Dr. Mohanty's session this morning, that this government, the state government or the central government is collaborating with the private and public institutions in a big way to put this AI as a part of the curriculum for the current courses, and the universities are putting up those. But then he did also mention about the Gen AI.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say, "Arey, ab to AI hajam nahi hua hai, Gen AI kya hai?" So that's again something that people really are scratching the head at. Do we really need to forego AI and then look at what Gen AI? But I think learning is a ongoing process. So we have to, maybe organization will have to put this in their vision statement now, that AI is a transformative, it's a journey. It cannot be taken as a standalone project and be done, So maybe you start small, maybe with your CRM data, or maybe your customer support data, or maybe with your books, accounts, but start a project, put a KPIs, and review it on a periodic basis. I think only then you can derive the benefit. Cost, of course, is going to be there. I mean, for anything that you get to do meaningful, cost is going to be there. But then you need to identify how much are you ready to invest. And you have to keep a long-term vision for ROI. You cannot just take it as it will happen in 3 months or 6 months' time.
Absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. And when you talked about data, that was where I got very intrigued, because we've seen a lot of organizations have not the right synchronized data in place, and that's the reason why when they implemented AI, it didn't work as per their expectations, right? So I think that's a very good point, where data plays a very crucial role, and more on that, data security plays a very important role as well, because that's where you could mess around with, again, responsible AI as we speak. If you do not have the right measures of your data security, it could go for a toss, right? So Vikas, it'll be great to have your thoughts on that.
I personally think the only challenge is the challenge of adoption. Like we have been talking the same terms. If I start calling AI is AI tool rather than AI, I think it gives us some comfort. Neeraj talk about Copilot is one of the tools that is actively being used, and there are many other. Now that actually affects individual. Paying some amount, 25 to 30K annually is not a very big amount, considering in your organization, if you want to enhance their capability quickly, you will feel that is a very small amount. I mean, I'll give you some example. I'm sure everyone at one level or even now must be spending time to start something. Once we start it, then it's easy to complete that job. Take example, we want to write an email, we want to write an effective email, or we want to even create a PPT. The maximum time we spend is to start creating that. We don't know how to start, when to start, how to structure this out. That is usually the 50-60% of the time that we spend on that particular thing at individual level. Now what this tool does is, it basically saves you 60%. It gives you, very kickstart in matter of seconds or minutes, so that you can continue with what you want to do rather than just procrastinating and waiting, in your thought process. So it's just a tool which you see as a tool will be able to overcome this challenge which I'm trying to talk about. Rest of the challenge, I agree with the data challenges, I agree with other technology challenges, computing power, which will obviously will be there and will go away very soon, as quickly we are moving towards it. As we have solved other technical challenges in the past, even this will improve, right? But the good part is, still using AI, paying 25 to 30,000 annum is damn cheap. Like, no one is asking you to build big servers, etc. Like 30,000 is practically nothing, right? If you think at individual level, think of it as what time or money you want to spend with your employees to upgrade them. It's still less than that.
So true, so true.
So I think one more challenge, what I feel is the privacy concerns. I think a lot of personal data is available through the AI, and there is no consent which is required. It is easily available for anybody. I think that is one thing. Second, I think everybody agrees to it, is the job displacement challenge. I think that is one thing which is going to affect us going forward, not now. But I think, yes, I think Neeraj rightly mentioned, once we adapt and once we train our people, so I think that we might recover on that.
That's a good point, and I would like to hold on to that thought later on because I have a question on that. But I would like to go back to Jitesh, and like you were talking about AI implementation and like, what are the challenges, and we also heard it from the stalwarts earlier as well. Do you really see businesses across India ready for AI implementation at this point of time, like based on your experience?
Well, there is no good time or a bad time to start, I mean, early the better, Let me give you an example. We being into SI and software distribution business, we started this with our CRM and desk, which is typically, we are on Zoho. So we use desk quite extensively. And there was always a challenge that the sales folks used to always, when they are in the very advanced stage of discussion with the end customer, they used to always face this problem on small technical challenges as to whether to understand this capability, this tool has, or this software has this capability or not. And they will always go back to the technical pre-sales team and asking them for, why don't you help me out? And then the pre-sales technical team will come on a call. What we did was on an experimental basis was that we actually uploaded the entire user manual guide of that particular solution on our CRM. And now the sales folks just have to type that query and they have answer. Now this was helped to us with our service provider. They said, why don't you do this? And we did that, and now it's easy. So no matter how difficult is the query or how technical it might sound to the sales folks, but then the sales guys, for them, the information is readily available. Okay. And it is not coming in from an unauthorized source. It is coming from an authorized source because the user manual guide or the technical literatures are all updated at the back end. So there is a relevance. They can relate it to that particular document. So tomorrow, if they have been counter questioned, they have a proof that they referred this particular document. So these are the small examples that you can see. Yeah, of course, on what Vikas said is on the resource. There's a huge shortage, and we are still in the early days. But then, as Mr. Mohanty also mentioned earlier, that there's a lot of tech resources will be available. But and today, I think most of you, if you have read today's newspaper, I read. I think the first 3 pages were on the kind of recruitments that industries are doing on AI. Like the IITians are really getting really good offers from companies who are AI driven. And not only that, the GCCs, the global capacity centers, who are now going to invest in India heavily, all the big techies, all the tech companies, I think they have put a very, very promising figure of 2,500 recruits in this next 6 months, only on AI.
Yes.
Now, what does that say? That says that we have a promising future. But yeah, there is a talent shortage. And not for every company it is viable to invest in a very high talent. But then I think as the models will mature and as there will be more resources available, things will get eased. But I think for any organization, there's no optimal time. They can start any time with a small project. But then it has to be a transformative. It just cannot be just one of the projects we did it, we didn't get the result, and we trashed it. No, that cannot be the approach.
Okay, that's really interesting, and I agree because I also read a report where a lot of GCCs and innovation centers that are being built up in India are having a lot of requirement around AI. So I think that's going to be the next big thing for us, for our nation's growth as well, from being the tech-forward company or country rather. That we are today, right? So that's a great point over there. So because just to understand from a sector-specific perspective, right? Like if you talk about the fintechs or the BFSIs or retail, e-com, all of these, which sector do you see has from your experiences been the kind of front runners in the AI game, and like any challenges which are sector-specific, right? That you see that are happening today based on your experience. Because a lot of sectors today, like I know I'm seeing, like, if you talk about e-com and retail specifically, they are very much in front running to implement AI, right? To drive customer experience, more of from a CX perspective, right? But that is not kind of, matching up to their, again, the whole data ingestion that they're doing, the way they kind of, putting in, their synchronized data and all of that. And due to that issues, their customer experience is not, instead of becoming better, it's becoming worse, right? So they have to kind of, roll back. And how difficult is it to roll back after kind of, getting in?
So let me answer this with a question actually.
Yeah.
That we usually hear, can AI replace us? Okay, let me ask you, Dev. Can AI replace a moderator in this panel discussion in future?
It could, but not in the way I do it.
Well, the better answer is AI will never replace it, but someone using AI will replace you.
Yeah.
Correct? So it's basically giving us empower. So if we talk about industry, any industry where there are humans who are using systems which are AI enabled are doing very well, because they are the first adopter of AI. You know, everyone working on smartphones or systems where AI is accessible, they are able to do much better and way quicker. People who, let's talk about manufacturing, right? Now there are companies who want to use AI, especially to maintain their machines, like asset management or asset maintenance. One of the challenges they face is that they don't know when machine will go down and the whole assembly line will stop, yes. Right? And that hours or minutes of stoppage really disrupt the whole supply and whole system they are in place. Mm-hmm. So they want to ensure that their whole assembly line doesn't stop. Now what they were doing earlier was to do a regular maintenance, change the spare part before even it was required, put extra capacity of people to keep checking it out and keep maintaining that so that it's a proactive step. Now what has happened with AI, with the use of IoT and other devices, ultimately IoT devices giving us data, and then there is an engine at back which is consuming the data and give us insight to make decisions. What it is telling that which part need a replacement in another 2-3 months. Yeah. Correct? Which part can still go on for other few months or few weeks. And it has done so much automation that if it feels that some part need replacement maybe in next week, it is automatically pushing a service order or a purchase order, and it is being pushed through the system. So no manual intervention required. Now, I'm not saying it has reduced the people who were used to maintain it, but it has given much more satisfaction to the management and the people who own that company that they are safe. They are much better equipped and prepared to handle these kind of situations. So I don't see any specific industry which is getting ahead. E-commerce, yes, because we all use e-commerce and we feel that, right? Yeah. But at back end, how the products are being made is not visible to at individual level, so we don't know what is happening. But practically everyone is using it. Like when we are using Google, for example, when we try to search something, with the keyword you get automatically results. Sometimes you behave like, how come it know that what I'm trying to search? That's also AI. Yeah. So AI is already there. I mean, that's the reason I'm trying to answer the same thing. Treat it as a tool and adopt more tools of AI to make yourself better, so that, like I said, only you can replace Dev when you start using AI. No one else can replace. Right?
No, that's fantastic. So humanizing AI is also very important, and having that human touch to AI is something that can be something we can look at. So I was just coming to you, Ajay, based on what Vikas said, like assembly lines can get disrupted, things can go for a toss for an organization, right? And how is AI transforming the cybersecurity landscape for businesses, right?
So AI has been extensively used by the cybersecurity industry, and I think we have already adapted it, and we are already in a process of collaborating it along with our software solutions. But what I can say is, I think what we use it as a positive AI, where we use it to detect the ransomware faster as possible. We used to detect the attacks as fast as possible. But as I mentioned earlier also, there is the other side where the hackers are also using the same thing. Yes. The tools to disrupt what we have been trying to protect it. So I think that is also the other side. I think we need to put both the things, the positive as well as the negative side also. On one side, we are trying to protect it, but on the other side, the hackers are also clever and they're also using the same tools to do it. So I think it is has both the stories.
True. And with that, the earlier thought that you kind of, spoke about, that is about responsible AI and people getting to kind of, get a little bit of in-depth understanding on AI. you see cybersecurity being that first step that they, or governance being that first step that they need to kind of be educated upon before
Yes.
kind of, getting into the whole AI implementation piece
Yes,
of it.
yes. And then thinking that we have already started within our organization, and we are educating the partners as well as the customers, both on responsible AI from the security standpoint. And people are understanding the advantages as well as the disadvantages also.
Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So,
So talking, just to answer on the sectors,
Sure.
just to elaborate more, I think what we have seen or what I have read is, I think most of the sectors are using it. I think I have read somewhere that the healthcare sector is using for drug discovery kind of a thing. The legal industry is also using it to get some solutions from the AI. There are banking industries who are using the AI. So it is not just sector specific. I think almost all the sectors are using it, but currently it is not organized. So I think somewhere
Correct.
they need to be organized and use it rightly.
True. And, similar to that, Neeraj, it will be really important to understand from you as to how do you see AI disrupting, the customer experience phase of it for the businesses and also the operations of businesses. So how have you seen, organizations, implement or see the disruption that AI brings in from a CX and an operations standpoint?
Okay. From the adoption point of view or from the operational point of view, so the major challenge again, it is all about like putting these systems in place and putting the data in place and getting people who can work on it and who can really deliver it. So one thing what I want to talk about is when we say AI is more of artificial intelligence, what we know, which can do few of the stuff for us automatically. That is the one what we are using it for since a long time. Like as Vikas also mentioned that we were using AI earlier as well. Very good example is face recognition on our phone. So we are using it since long. So that is the one aspect of the AI. The second part what we are talking about is Gen AI. So Gen AI is something which is very new. Where we are talking about the LLM models and that all. So that is something where now things has been started picking up, and that is making lot of changes into the industry. We are talking about the industries, which are the industries which are getting affected. I think all the industries are going to be affected. There is nothing particular like one industry is going to be targeted. Let us take an example of the legal industry, as Ajay has also mentioned. So in legal, one way is we are analyzing something and we are getting some information around that. But the important is they are doing lot of repetitive tasks, and they want to create some documents and they want to create filing some returns or filing some affidavits and that all. So now the question is, this is where Gen AI comes into it. It is creating the fresh perspective and it is writing the documents with the fresh content. It is not something like we are copying pasting from Google and just creating it. No, every time you ask the AI engine to create a content for a specific thing and it creates a fresh new content. So that is where I think is the major change which is going to happen and which is going to add a lot of value to almost each and every industry.
Yes, please, Vikas.
I tell you a secret about organizations. Okay?
Yeah.
Believe me, there are much more organizations who are using AI. They're not talking about it because they're using it as a magic wand. It's a secret tool for them to enhance their capability without letting people know. So you won't hear companies talking about I'm using AI to do this, because that's a top secret now.
Yeah.
Right. And the sooner you adopt it, you will also have your own top secret to go about it. So practically it's everywhere now.
My top secret is that I use ChatGPT to make sure that I moderate this very well. Now I've just given it out.
So just to add to what he said, I don't know if you guys know about it, but then there are tools in the industry which can really point out that all the content that you've done is from an AI tool.
Yes.
So
Ask a marketer.
Yeah. So believe me, the human element is not going to go away. Your knowledge is not going to go away. That will be as effective as it is today. It is just that AI is an enabler. It is not a competition. And there are going to be sectors which will certainly demand for a genuine content. You cannot just keep doing everything on AI. So just take it as an enabler rather than just as a competition. And there are tools in the industry which can really help you in every sector. So no industry is agnostic now.
Yeah.
Of course, the early adopters are healthcare and as legal and creative content writers and all. But then every industry is looking at it in a very promising manner.
Yeah.
And they want to speed up the go-to market. They want to make sure their customer experience is elevated to the next level. So everybody wants to adopt it in the way that can be best for their businesses. And I think the best call has to be taken by the organizations, the top senior management, as to how they want to start the adoption.
The funny thing that you said about this was like, when ChatGPT was very new and everyone started using ChatGPT and all of that, especially like, marketers and everyone, content writers and all of that. We all got so accustomed to it. We started, everyone started using it, and I have no two ways of denying it, right? We all do it. And then Google and all of these, search engines put a AI check. And now we are in a fix what to do. We are accustomed to use ChatGPT, AI in order to write content.
They have their own.
And now they have their own AI checks, and they're like, this is AI generated content, will not show up on your algorithms, right? Correctly. So now, because they have their own AI, right? They have Gemini, they have, LinkedIn has its own, AI and all of that bots, right? So they want to make sure that we are using those particular bots. So it's going to be a very mixed bag kind of, experience while we understand and explore AI as we move forward. So great discussion. Thank you so much. I would want to open it to the audience over here if they have any questions, and it will be great to kind of, yes, please. That gentleman has a question. Can you have a mic for him, please? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Or if you have any perspective on AI, that'll be really great. Yes, please.
Hi. So my perspective is little different. See, we have listened since morning AI. I understand adopting and all the results are going to be fabulous. But I believe for us, the people in this room, is going to be another product to resell. Honestly speaking, we are not going to develop any engine or any of the thing. So talking as a partner, I understand it's good. Dr. Monty, PhD, said very good. But I think so as a partner, I believe it is going to be additional tool. You sell Copilot, you sell ChatGPT, whatever you want to sell. It's going to be like cloud. In 12 and 13, cloud was a buzzword. Today, what we are doing is probably reselling the cloud. We said take people on cloud, but we are reselling it. Today, what we are doing, Copilot. See, Vikas said 30,000 is peanuts. Please go out in the market and try and sell to an organization. There are 100,000 users. Sell 30,000 per user per year, it's going to be a nightmare. Trust me, people are not going to buy. They'll say, okay, I'll buy 20, 30, 40 for a, top senior management, while it should have been for a bottom guys who does not have the knowledge of, scripting or whatever you say. So I have a total different perspective. I would say it's still a buzzword, and ultimately it's going to be one more product in our kitty to resell. Yes, we develop some skill, we'll implement and we'll show you a demo. Like today you see Microsoft presentation, they'll only talk Copilot. Take any presentation. It's only today for us one product. I don't know, tomorrow we might have 10 more products like this. The way we started, probably Amazon, then Google, then Azure. So this is what is my perspective. I believe for us it's going to be one more product for sale.
No, thank you for stirring the pot there. I think now the panel is going to have a very good perspective to it. Yeah, please.
So you're absolutely right. Saying someone, okay, $30,000 with so many people is a difficult question. So that's not really, we even go and sell that, take 30,000 for all the people. Eventually start small. And when I said that, there is always a skill upgrade budget with every company. If you look at that and speak about these tools which are embedded with that and help them upgrade in a better way, then they also accept. So it's not that, you say, okay, use this AI and then everyone start using it, etc., etc. Of course. Of course. No, but No, but if you look at the upgrade cost, you will see this is cheaper than upgrade cost.
Attending a session or a lecture, I understand it's not going to give you a result. But here, as he rightly said, it's a standard intent. If you are going to write something, you'll get the same, a letter or a drafting or whatever you say, it's going to be same for majority of the time. So I still believe it cannot replace that,
So, for management, what they want to save time. They want their people to be more productive. I mean, that's the only sales pitch. I mean, how much time you're able to save and they'll do it.
Jitesh, I want to add something here. So I completely agree from Jitesh perspective. Partner हैं, ultimately धंधा करना है यार अपने को तो. AI में क्या करना है, क्या हो रहा है, doesn't matter. So it is all about like selling the product. Okay, so but selling the product is not easy nowadays, because the problem is this, that if we don't understand the product, it's very difficult to sell. So what I adopted is, so I'm the very first few adopter of this Copilot for Microsoft, and I'm a big fan of this product. So what I used to do is, whenever I'm having a call with one of my customer, so at the end of the call, I ask him, do you have 2 minutes? Okay. I share my screen, I open my Teams, and I show him that what Copilot is doing for me. I show him that this is what you have said, this is what I have said, these are the pointers what we have discussed, and these are the action items for you and for me. What is the next? आपको खरीदना है, मुझे बेचना है. That is the next action. So that is a whole history I show him, and that is something where we can add value. Because this AI is a very new thing. I mean, every customer is not ready to buy it because they don't understand that how it is going to work. So that is the reason why we want to understand AI in a better way, so that we can sell it. We can sell the products actually. That is my.
I think Jiten bhai being a leader in the industry and a stalwart leader, I think he can set the precedent by adopting himself and then even selling. So I look at it as a two-way. He himself adopting it in the organization and then selling it. So yeah, I mean, he's right. The baseline, the bottom line is the margins, the profits for all of us. Yes, yes, absolutely.
No, that's a valid point. It's a product and it has to be sold. At the end of the day, that is what matters. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, you are right, sir. And
we have,
but we look at it as in a both way, like adaptation internally as well as for making businesses.
Yes.
And eventually this will be one more solution in your bucket, no doubt about it. But then that's what everybody wants to. We don't want to be left out in the race. We want all us customers to get the best.
But just a passing thought on that before we go on to the next question is that, like cybersecurity, you need to know cybersecurity to sell cybersecurity. You cannot just go and sell cybersecurity, right? You need to know AI, you need to learn AI in order to understand AI, in order to sell AI as a product to a solution. So that is where the whole self-implementation comes first.
Upskilling, internal upskilling.
Internal
is a must.
upskilling, exactly.
Upskilling your workforce, upskilling yourself is a key. And I think what Mr. Mondi was said at his age, at that age, he said, if I can do PhD, why not the young folks can do that?
Exactly.
So that's very inspirational.
Yeah. That's a great thought. So over to, yes, please.
Yeah, I just want to share some perspective on this one, why we need AI or not need. I think you have to go to the basic things actually, right? How much data you have, whether you have low data and you have a high data. That's a one very basic question. And if you have high data, you want to increase the efficiency, then you go for this one. And second, I think the other basic thing is, what do you have more, time or money? Okay, then you implement accordingly. That's what my perspective on the AI. Okay,
that is a good perspective.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Yeah. We had one more question at the end over there, if they could help. Yeah. We'll come to you.
Wow, sorry, I've got a bad throat, so that's I'm not over there. So one most important factor, what Jiten said, we will start selling AI. There will be a new business portfolio in that. But most important thing, what we are missing, is education and awareness. See, when you are talking about Copilot, when you are talking about ChatGPT, what is important? Prompting.
Yes.
We need to create a prompt engineer in your organization. I'll give you an example of one of my customer fired the legal department because the next generation director thought that by putting into a ChatGPT, he would be able to compute all the legal documents. He did it. But the way the lawyer, interns or lawyers or who do the right prompting in the ChatGPT and get the result, and the result produced by owners, is totally different. So what is the most important is to create a prompt engineers and creating the awareness. Instead of selling AI, first create a course of being a prompt engineer. Create each and every department, you make them prompt engineer that will enhance their company's productivity and company's growth.
Right.
Ajay was talking about job displacement. If this thing comes and when you are adding to this with their own job portfolio, you will be never scared of getting about job displacement. Instead of that, you will be getting every time a more enhanced product and result. That is what I wanted to share.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Any perspective to that? Yeah, I think that's a valid perspective. Yeah, we had one more.
So my take on the title itself, it's not a disruptor, because all of the new technologies which have been coming in over the years have always enhanced and added to whatever we could do. So I think, and Jitesh has put it in perspective, because I'm sure he has already adapted that, and he is probably talking about his challenges in the organization. But yes, what we need is, it's a full circle. It has started the way so many technologies started. They seemed scary, they seemed difficult, but then it works, because the human mind is much more than what just kind of algorithms would do, because everything has been created by us, and we are just making sane use and the beneficial use of that particular data which is available. I think there are a lot of detailing which we can do as we go on the way, but I think it adds to us, it does not disrupt any of our business models.
Thank you so much. With that, we will sum up this panel. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience and hearing us. The panel is right here for you. So if you have any questions, please do ask them. Thank you so much. Thank you.